my name is Ariel Taylor, and I'm here to talk about my lesson plan. The subject of this lesson will be covering mathematics, and the class is a kindergarten class. Just to give a brief description of the classroom. This classroom is a blended kindergarten class with students who are 5 years old. The classroom consists of 11 students, 6 girls and 5 boys. There are 3 African American children, 2 Hispanic children, and 4 Caucasian children, and 2 multicultural children. Only 4 students eat lunch, which they receive free. There are 2 students in the classroom who are ELLs, with Spanish being their native language. The first student is Ricardo. His Spanish is his native language, and he comes from a Mexican-American family. He has a literacy level of L2, and he is able to understand phrases and short sentences, but still have some errors in writing skills. The next student is Maria. She is also Spanish. Spanish is her native language, and she comes from a Mexican-American family as well. She has a literacy level of L1. She only has a limited understanding of English. She responds to things through nonverbal communication. The standards that will be in this curriculum, or this lesson plan, are CCSS Math Content KCC A1, which is the count to 100 by ones and by tens. The next one is CCSS Math Content KCC A3, which is write numbers from 0 to 20, represent a number of objects with a written numeral 0 to 20. For the TESOL National Standards, I have Standard 1. English language learners communicate for social and intercultural and instructional purposes within the school setting. And Standard 3. English language learners communicate information, ideas, and concepts necessary for academic success in the area of mathematics. So now to talk about the goals of this lesson. The objective of this lesson is to have students learn the basic fundamentals of being able to know their numbers by name and being able to count in sequence. Counting forward beginning with a given number and write numbers 0 to 20 by the end of this lesson. So for example, if I were to pass out a handful of popsicle sticks to every student in the classroom, they should then be able to distinguish how many popsicle sticks were given to them. For the ELL academic language objectives, for Ricardo, since he's a level 2, the best way to make sure that Ricardo is grasping the lesson is by allowing to first see if he is able to understand and process what is being taught. Then from there, implementing visual and kinesthetic props in order for him to get a better understanding. And for Maria, which is a level 1, the best way to deliver the lesson, where Maria is able to participate with her classmates, is by partnering her up with a fellow classmate. That way she is able to listen to the lesson, but does not need to verbally give an answer. Also making sure that visual and kinesthetic props are used as well, so she can physically see what is being taught to her. Now, how do I plan to access student achievement of these goals? In order for my class to understand what is being taught in the lesson, I plan on implementing a lot of visual tools, resources, as well as hands-on activities for the classroom to see and use. That way they are able to physically distinguish what is being taught in this lesson. For example, using counting cards or showing age-appropriate videos that deal with counting, having the class count off by number how many students there are in the classroom throughout the room, using the calendar to count how many days there are in a month and year. Also by using hands-on activities that will allow the students to physically hold what they are counting. Describable assessments accommodations that will be made for the ELL for this lesson. Accommodations that I plan to use in this lesson for my ELL students are visual aids. The visual aids will be put in place in order for the ELL students to see what is being taught. Also incorporating activities into the lesson that allow the students to interact through body language and movements, such as singing the Days of the Week Clap Clap song, which will get them engaged into what is being taught, or making sure all instructions and directions are simplified as possible, making sure all material is cohesive for the student, allowing students to work with peers around them, continually check and assess students with strengths and challenges, and make proper accommodations for these students. The delivery of the content that I plan to use is 1. Verbally counting out loud with the classroom. Incorporating books which will help with learning how to count, such as How Do Dinosaurs Count to 10 and the Icky Bug Counting Book. using songs such as 1, 2, Buckle My Shoe, or showing how to use fingers and toes to help count. Visual aid props that class can see and touch, such as popsicle sticks, flashcards, and counting how many peers are in the classroom. Incorporating activities such as hopscotch, linking counting cubes, counting the days of the week and months, and then being able to see a number line and identify your age in the list on the board. The guided and independent practice. For my guided practice, I plan on showing a number on a flashcard so that they can tell what number comes after. For the independent practice, I plan to pair students up in groups of 2 and place a stack of flashcards between them and have them pick a flashcard with a number on it and count from that number up to 20. Another independent practice that I plan to use is having them roll a dice and writing down the numbers that pop up. For closure, sharing, and reflection, I plan to go around the classroom and having each student explain what activity they practiced during independent practice time and what they took from that. Doing a quick review of what was introduced in the beginning, and then ending off by singing 1, 2, Buckle My Shoe. Some difficulties that might arise in this lesson are, in order to help the students remember number sequences and recognize numbers, I plan to have on the board number of the day, where we can focus on that number, count to and from, and also incorporate activities where it focuses on the numbers, such as grouping M&Ms by their colors and number of the day. Also, having a refresher from the previous day's number before moving on to the next number will also be a good idea to use, so students will not become, so it won't be a difficult lesson. How do I plan to make the results of this assessment? First, if there are any students who are having trouble with this lesson, I plan to work one-on-one with the students who might be having a hard time grasping the lesson. And also, I plan to incorporate worksheets that focus on counting. This will be a good way so students will begin to get that refresher as well. How could I extend or enrich this lesson? By making the lesson fun and interactive for the classroom. Also having the students find something that they can count outside of the classroom. Then have them come back the next day and tell the classroom what they discovered at their house that they were able to count, such as spoons, the TVs, cars, and apples. This concludes my lesson plan that I use to incorporate. Thank you.